Hey guys, what's up? I'm Ash and today I'm shooting Ryan's 1971 XY Ford Falcon. So it's actually a fresh build, and by that I mean they were actually putting the finishing touches on it this morning to get it down here for today's shoot. And it's one hell of a street car. So Frank from Dandy Engines has been at it again. It's running a Harrop-blown Godzilla and is making 1,346 horses on the dyno. So let's take a closer look. I'm just trying to be a little bit creative here with shadows. The last few shoots that I've done, I've been really happy with them, but they've been mostly large, like outdoor places, no undercover areas. So I've got to make the most of it and get some kind of unique shots. That's the goal. We'll see how we go. So now I'm going to flick my lights on and see what the strobe does to the side of it. Although honestly, it's looking good at the moment without any lights on it, but I like to try because we could put a little bit more light on those tyres just because they are quite dark in contrast to the ground. It's definitely working to get a little bit more light on those tyres, which is good. It does reflect a little bit on the wall behind, which I'm not a massive fan of. So I'm going to pull these lights down a bit. So that's the difference without the light. Kind of look at that front end. And then with the light. So it's just enough fill so I'll be able to bring up the darkness in the tyres and the rims. So we've got some cool side-on shots, and I think now we'll probably move on to some details. Usually we do it in the shed, but we don't actually have one today. But that's okay, because we adapt and we overcome. So we're going to park the car in the shade, and then I'm going to use the strobes, and I'm going to shoot the interior, the engine bay, and also the boot, and any little details that catch my eye.
The street radials are a dead giveaway that this GT is hiding some serious gear. And a quick look in the boot or under the bonnet and we can see just how much work has actually gone into this build.
So I grabbed a few shots initially from the other side when I set the lights up, and it wasn't quite reflecting how I wanted it to because this is so fresh and so shiny, this interior. All I did was swap sides and now it's photographing beautifully. So sometimes it's just a matter of just having a play and walking around and just trying the different angles. So that's just initially setting up the lights. So that was on the other side. Just wasn't really feeling it. So I just jumped around here and much more diffused. Still light settings are the same. I'm using the polarizer as I was before.
On the inside, the cabin's been kept clean and tidy. It's still got that factory style look, but it's been upgraded with a Haltech IC7 digital dash and keypad. And for the exterior, it's still wearing the original electric blue paint, but that's had a bit of a freshen up along the way.
So my goal for these shots, the details in the boot, I still want it to look like we're in a studio even though we're outside and in the shade. So it is possible by using the strobes. So I've set them up and I'm shooting in a way where I just usually would if we were in the dark, but just making tweaks to my settings so I can still replicate that kind of look.
The boot's housing a fuel cell with 3 Walbro pumps, while an interchiller system is using air-conned gas to chill the water that's feeding the Harrop intercooler.
So I'm intentionally shooting a little dark as well because I want to get the branding and I want to get it sharp without blowing out the lines and the details. So I can always bring out the details in the shadow, but I find it's harder to bring back detail in a blown out highlight. So that's my technique. We go a little bit darker and we bring out what we need to. But this is pretty effective. Under here with the strobes.
Matt from Rogan Industries was the brains and brawn behind making it all fit. He dropped the Godzilla in and the gearbox, along with a custom radiator and full exhaust. As well as setting up the engine and transmission, he also fabricated the sheet metal 9-inch and mini tubs and installed the internal cage. Up front, the shock towers were removed to make room for the independent suspension, and it's running electric power steering. Ryan wanted an XY GT since he was 12 years old, and when this replica came up for sale in 1999, he jumped on it. The original 351 Clevo combo got reworked plenty of times over the years as he leaned more into drag racing, but eventually Ryan decided that the old carby setup needed to make way for something a bit more high-tech, though he wanted to keep it Ford and was tossing up between a Barra or a Coyote, and after seeing the results that Dandy Engines were pulling with their builds, that's when he landed on the Godzilla. That's when Frankie went to work on the 7.3 litre small block, topping it with a Harrop 2650 blower. Inside you'll find diamond pistons, Callie's H-beam rods, Callie's cam, ported heads and custom twin 4-inch exhaust pipes. I'm pretty stoked with this shoot, and I'm actually really glad that even though the light wasn't perfect, we still had a play around the bridge earlier in the day at those different spots. I think it's good to kind of keep a little bit of variety and just be aware that the light isn't always going to be perfect, the timing isn't always going to be right, but I love how it turned out. And I think for the exterior shots, we definitely picked the right spot in front of that old building for the late afternoon and the soft light. So in saying all that, thank you very much for watching, and let's run the pics.